More deaths and concern about looting as Bahamas picks up the pieces from Hurricane Dorian. And in sports, defending champs Trinbago Knight Riders crushed St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots in their opening match. I'm Ricardo Robertson. This is Caribbean in 10 for Thursday, September 5th, 2019. I'll be back with the details after the break. Amid a rising death toll from Hurricane Dorian that has now reached at least 20, authorities in the Bahamas are warning looters who are reportedly taking advantage of the situation. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis says those caught engaging in crime as the hurricane-hit country tries to recover will feel the full weight of the law. He said that while Bahamians have been worried about loved ones on Grand Bahama and Abaco, which Dorian slammed at the beginning of the week, there were reports of looting and other disturbances.
Bahamians are distressed that anyone would loot and further the suffering of those affected by this tragedy. This is a terrible disregard for the safety and security of others. Be warned. We will prosecute looters and other lawbreakers to the full extent of the law. We are a country of law. I have mobilized the full resources of the government for search and rescue missions in both Abaco and Grand Bahama. To reinforce security on these islands, additional police and defense force officers have already been deployed.
Prime Minister Minnis, who was speaking last night after an initial air assessment of Grand Bahama, said about 150 soldiers from the Jamaica Defense Force will also assist in maintaining safety and security in the affected islands, which he said had been left generational devastation. Now, he said most of the Grand Bahama had been underwater, but the floodwaters have receded. Some structures and infrastructure are badly damaged. But Minnis said buildings in the island's main city, Freeport, were not as badly affected.
Freeport infrastructurally had done well. However, from a humanitarian perspective, we must consider the psychological impact that we would experience at a later date. There are many on Grand Bahama who are suffering.
Minnis said he has mobilized the full resources of the government for rescue missions, and he sought to assure affected residents that help is on the way. And as we've been reporting over the past few days, promises of aid have been coming from across the region and further afield. Minnis said CARICOM's chairman, St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chasney and Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados would be in the Bahamas today to discuss what support, relief and recovery support CARICOM can provide. Meantime, the Prime Minister reported that he had spoken on Wednesday afternoon with U.S. President Donald Trump, who pledged his country's support for the Bahamas. And according to Minnis, the American leader specifically wanted the rest of the world to know the Bahamas as a whole was not devastated.
President Trump was delighted that the hurricane damage was confined to 2 islands as opposed to the entire Bahamas. He wanted me to remind others and the international community that Nassau, the economic engine of the Bahamas, still functions. And he informed me that he's certain that I would ensure such information is disseminated to the international community. And I informed him that it would be even better if he would inform the international community that the Bahamas is still open for business, and he has concurred.
And the United Nations says it will be releasing $1 million in emergency aid. UN Relief Chief Mark Lowcock traveled to the Bahamas yesterday and met with Prime Minister Minnis as well as other government officials. The money is to be released immediately from the Central Emergency Response Fund to deal with the priorities the Prime Minister has identified. Lowcock added that after further aerial surveys today and more data collection, it's hoped the UN can get teams on the ground. And stay with us, your Midday Sport is next.
Use half the amount of sugar if you didn't want it this sweet. I'm gonna go in with some currants or some raisins, sliced almonds, some elaichi or cardamom powder, and I'm gonna grate in some fresh nutmeg. So that all of the liquid in here has dried out. It's nice and where I want it to be. I'm just going to set this aside and allow it to cool off.
So gender bias is basically where we discuss issues relating to men and women and the way that they see things differently. I definitely will be biased. I will be me. You will be hearing it just how it is. I will not be frank as everybody wants to be frank.
No, lad. I don't know how personal.
I was like, oh damn.
No. Just a general disposition.
I think we need to put a police escort on our street for the rest of the week.
And a lawyer. Wait, no. Pitbull.
Defending Caribbean Premier League champs Trinbago Knight Riders pulled off a sensational 11-run victory over St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots in what was an opening thriller of the tournament in Port of Spain last night. Sent in at the Queen's Park Oval, TKR posted a modest 152 for 7 from their 20 overs, with captain Karen Pollard coming in to the rescue after speedster Sheldon Cottrell's brace of 3 for 13, which saw TKR sampling to 84-4 after 10 overs. Pollard scored 47 from 32 deliveries, while Dinesh Ramdin and left-handed batsman James Neesham of New Zealand added 33 runs each. Wickets fell in big heaps in the Patriots' reply, despite a solid 47-run partnership between Evan Lewis and Kajon Otley. Neesham and Pakistani fast bowler Mohammad Hasnain picked up 3 wickets each, which saw Patriots folding on 141 in 19.4 overs. And Sunshine Girl Shimona Nelson produced another sterling performance, but it went in vain as her Collingwood Magpies bowed out of contention for a place in the final of the Australian Netball Championship with a 62-49 defeat to Melbourne Vixens on Sunday. Now playing in the second semi-final at the State Netball Hockey Centre, Magpies were blown away in the first quarter to trail 29 and were behind by 15 goals. 1934 at the half-time break. They won the third quarter 14-12, but there was no miracle comeback in the final quarter as Vixens kept the visitors in check. The 20-year-old Nelson Magpies with 42 goals from 46 attempts, while for the winners, Tegan Phillip netted 29 from 36 attempts and Caitlin Thwaites 29 from 33. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.